In our journey through life, we face countless temptations, from small distractions to significant challenges and sins. The lure of temptation can be strong. But in 1 Corinthians 10:12-13, we're reminded that we're not alone in this struggle. It says this: "If you think you are standing strong, be careful not to fall. The temptations in your life are no different from what others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, He will show you a way out so that you can endure." This passage is a great reminder to us that we're all susceptible to temptation, regardless of who we are or where we've come from. But it also assures us that God's strength is available to help us overcome. And that's great news, but there's something we might miss in this passage that I want to point out. And it's the first sentence. It says, "If you think you're standing strong, be careful not to fall." See, I think we often view temptation as something that's going to be fairly obvious, something that's like a clear violation of our values, and yet it's something that we might still want or desire anyway. And so we view temptation as this struggle to overcome our desires for the sake of our values. But in that equation, the thing that we want is pretty obvious, and overcoming temptation then looks like avoiding or rejecting the desire through willpower. We might ask God to take away the temptation, but in that case, at least we know what the temptation is. But here's the thing. Temptation is often subtle. It's not usually a big, obvious conflict between our desires and values, but a small, indistinct opportunity for compromise. It's not the huge thing we see that's usually the problem, but the seemingly inconsequential concessions that we make to draw us into sinful behaviors. So we have to be careful, mindful, constantly aware of the subtle temptations that we face. And that means that we really can't rely solely on willpower to overcome these things, but we have to rely on God's power and protection to keep us from these insidious temptations. In doing so, we recognize our need for God's help and learn to lean on His strength. And then He promises to provide a way out, no matter how overwhelming or how subtle the temptation might be. Remember, you're not alone in your struggles, and with God's help, you can overcome.